Today was one of the biggest days we've seen in the stock market for quite some time. However, will Jay Powell undo the rally tomorrow? We look at the fear and greed index. Yesterday, we were sitting over in fear. Now we are back into greedy territory, essentially skipping right over neutral. Now, last night, Trump won the presidential race. However, like this article says, Trump victory means fewer Fed rate cuts. Now, do you guys believe that is going to be true? Because if we come over and look at the Fed watch tool, notice there is only 21 hours left until the next FOMC meeting. Now, when we scroll on down here real quick, we can see there's a 99.2% chance the Fed is going to cut rates by 25 basis points. Now, when we come over and look at how the indices fared across the board, the Dow was up 1,508 points. Yes, I said 1,508 points, up 3.57%. The NASDAQ was up 544 points. S&P 500 up 146 points. Russell 2000 up 13. Then we look at advancing issues versus declining. We had 63.9% of issues advancing on the day. Then as we come over and look at the sectors across the board, what do we see? Financials by far leading the way, followed by industrials, the laggards out there, utilities, consumer defenses, and real estate. Now, if we come over and look at the XLF, the financial sector, look at the large gaping gap that we have out here. That is a monster gap out here. And a lot of people are going to be thinking about fading the gap. Now, today during the live stream, I warned traders, I do not think today's gap was going to be filled today. And if you want to make sure you don't miss the next time I go live, make sure you're subscribed and the bell notifications turned on for all. So with this being said, all right, we would have to assume that most of the financial stocks were up. Look at JP Morgan up 11.54%. We take a look at Goldman Sachs up 13.1%. Take a look at Wells Fargo up 13.11%. So across the board, banks having a very good day out there. Also, speaking of a good day out there, look at the dollar index, a massive bullish candle, and something that's a little bit suspicious. The dollar is rallying on the way up, but also look at Bitcoin up $6,800. And when we scroll the chart right to the left, what do we see? We see Bitcoin making a new all-time high. However, when we look at gold's like, I don't know what all the excitement is about. I do not like what happened last night. Gold today was down $78. And one of the targets we've been talking about over the past few videos was coming down towards 27.17. I say we break that, we come towards this high volume area right here. Well, look, within one day, we're already back down there. Now, something to be cautious about is the MACD indicator is still bearish on the daily chart. Then we come over and look at crude oil. Crude oil today also suffered an intraday pullback, however, was able to come back only down 10 cents on the session. Now, one of the fears we've had is Iran ratcheting up tensions in the Middle East. Those tensions in the Middle East could cause crude oil to rally on the way back up. And keep in mind, we do have a gap above us at about 73.82. However, to play devil's advocate, notice we have a hammer candle in the context of an uptrend, meaning the last couple days or so. This could be perceived as a hanging man candle, and that'd be one of the weakest of all reversal patterns out there. Now, if we come over and look at yields today, yields on the rise again. And, this is going to be a problem for the market at some point. You see yields rising, and notice we made it as high as 4.48% on the 10 years. So what is that going to do to mortgages and such? It's going to cause interest rates to go higher. What is that going to do to the debt? It's going to cost more and more to service the debt. And again, all this is going to come to roost at some point in the near future. Then we come over and look at after the bell. We have ARM, AMC, Qualcomm, ELF, just to name a few. When we look at the expected big movers out here, we can see Lyft expected to move plus or minus 15 to 16%. ARM expected to move plus or minus 14%. Now, if we look at ARM after hours, we can see ARM right now is currently down $7.51. We take a look at ELF. We can see ELF after hours is up $13.34. You can see it by the horizontal line right here. Then as we come over and look at Lyft today after hours rocketing on the way up 18.4% on this session. So tomorrow, if this gap holds, Lyft is going to have a massive gap out here. However, tomorrow we do have problems out here because we look at the economic calendar. Keep in mind, tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., the Bank of England has their interest rate decision coming out. Then at 7:30, Bailey's going to be speaking. 8:30, we have the weekly unemployment claims. However, 2 o'clock, it's going to be action-packed. Not only do we have the Fed funds rates, but then at 2:30, Jay Powell is going to take the podium, and we're going to see, has his tone shifted now that there's going to be a new administration in power in the very near future? Now, I want to bring it to your guys' attention. There is no published 80% sale with Apex Trader Funding at this moment, but if you use the link in the description box down below and use promo code Mike at checkout, I've been told that 80% discount is still being applied. Now, we come over and look at the diamonds. Can you say new all-time highs? Dow out here making another new all-time high. Large gaping gap up here. And one of the things we were talking about, could we be forming a head and shoulders? Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Well, today it went ahead and nullified that potential pattern playing out. It went extremely way too high out here. On the 30-minute chart, look, we gapped up and just kept wedging up throughout the day. However, I will caution you guys, the MACD indicator does look a little bit weak. Does not mean we cannot continue to push up higher. However, the big winner today was the IWM, the Russell 2000. You can see we have a hanging man candle way up here at this gap, completing out some of these ABC structures we've been watching out here for the past few weeks. Now, the question is, do we come back and start filling these gaps, or do we continue to push on higher? Because let's not forget, if we look at this on the monthly chart real quick, we can see the Russell 2000 is not back at all-time highs. However, now it's within the wick of the candle that did make a new all-time high. Now, we come over here and look at the QQQs. Notice today we closed in the upper third of the range, and we got to ask ourselves, is this an island reversal pattern? And if so, do we come back and maybe fill the gap before continuing to go higher? Or is this more of an exhaustion move and we're about to pull back down? Keep in mind, we have an ABC pattern up here at about 510.33. Then as we dive down, look at the 4-hour chart, MACD indicator just trying to cross on the way up at this moment. 1-hour chart, you can see MACD is just screaming to the upside. But then as we dive down, look at the 30-minute chart, notice the MACD indicator is starting to pinch together. Now, when we actually look at the volume profile, this is an area I do think that will get tested tomorrow. I'm going to go ahead and draw this out, and we'll talk about this level tomorrow on the live stream as well. That's going to be anywhere from about 504.09 down to about 503.78. That's going to be a minus development area. We start cracking below that. Then I want to target value area low, gap support, and then maybe over a couple days, we'll come down and start filling that gap. Now, as we come over and we look at the futures markets real quick, look at this on the 4-hour chart. That is a massive move on the way up, taking out that naked POC up there at 20,893.50. That is a monster move up. Now their weekly range is 918 points. However, there are some problems out here. We can see the very poor market structure right along here. So at some point, we will probably come back and visit that level. Is it going to be this week, or will it be saved for a later date? Now, when we come over and look at the daily charts, notice the last two 30-minute candles, we actually have some wicks on the top of them. Today, we almost made it up here to R3. We look at the volume profile levels real quick, and we can see that value area high is going to come in about 20,880.75. The point of control will be about 20,795.50. Value area low will come in at about 20,643.00. Now, I do think it's highly probable that tonight we will come down and take out that point of control at 20,795.50. Notice we're also slightly closing above value area high. Now, with that being said, keep in mind, we have a minus development area a little bit above that, which ranges from 837 down to about 824. So keep those levels marked off on your chart. Next, as we come over and look at the SPY, big gaping gap on the way up, closing with a hanging man candle. Again, the weakest of all reversal patterns, but we still need to be mindful that it could be a potential reversal pattern. Now, for that to play out, we need to close below the low of the candle. And again, we don't know how tomorrow is going to shake out. Do I think we're going to have plenty of volatility tomorrow? I most certainly do. Jay Powell taking the podium is likely going to be a market moving event. We look out here on the 4-hour chart, hanging man candle, boom, we push up even higher. We can see that island reversal right down here as well. And then as we come over and look at the 30-minute chart, notice the MACD indicator is starting to round out. Now, a lot of people are going to say, oh, I need to short it. We're going to go down and fill the gap right here, right now. I want to caution you guys on this a little bit, all right? Let's watch this tomorrow. If we stay up here at this upper level, the MACD indicator gets towards the zero line, watch out. That could be nothing more than a recharge point to run the highs, potentially trap some of the weaker bulls in the market, and then send us back down to potentially fill in this gap. Just something I'm kind of watching out for tomorrow. Now, also, we have this minus development area within the profile, and that area is really going to be anywhere from 589.49 up here to about 589.84. Next, we jump over and we take a look at the futures markets. We can see on the 4-hour chart, just a monster move on the way up. And as we look at this, we have a minus development area here. very poor market structure all along here. Now, will it be a Jay Powell that induces a little bit of a sell-off intraday to get us down and kind of repairing some of that poor structure in the market? Or do we leave it behind for a little bit longer? This week, we've already had a 242 point range. And today slash last night, the S&P was making a new all-time high along with, so one of the zones, if we do start to get a sell-off tomorrow, is going to be right here. All right, I'm going to mark off that minus development area. That's going to be 5,900 down here to about 5,893. All right, so keep that area on the chart. If indeed we do get a sell-off, this would be one of the primary targets. Also, if we pull a Fibonacci retracement from the low all the way up here to the high, notice where the 38% level comes in, well below that minus development area I just showed you guys. And again, these targets, these Fib targets may take multiple days or even weeks to come back and fill. Then as we come over and we look at the daily profiles, notice we're closing right near value area high, slightly above it. And we have value area high coming in at about 5956.50. We have the point of control coming in at 5934.25 with value area low coming in at 5911.25. Now, I do think it's highly probable that tomorrow we will take out this point of control at 5934.25, and we'll see, do we get the full rotation down through the profile? Keep in mind, we do have two different areas of minus development areas within the profile. And the first one that we'll come up on is going to be about 5,900 down here to 5,894, which is the same exact area that we mapped out off the weekly profiles as well. Now, if you guys want to see the trade copier that I use to trade my funded accounts, make sure to watch this video right here.